Now, the wound. That's all removed there. Now, all these jobs are about being methodical. I even have a good shirt on. Why have you got a good shirt on? Because it's been used about 5 days and needs a hand wash. Now, being methodical. But what's being a grown-up? Being a grown-up is as follows. Now, I was listening this morning yet again to these women who lie and call themselves activists, moaning about they had kids with blokes who were undercover coppers. Jesus Christ. I got the biggest wound in the world ever. Now, all I cared about 6 years ago, I think it was, in the corner of my old yard was a tree about half the size of that, and it had died. It was an ash. Now, maybe it was a sycamore. It had died a couple of years earlier, you could tell. And I bagged this tree, meaning where I used to live you could take fallen or dead wood, and I left it there for a couple of years. All I cared about, because when my daughter was from the age of 3 to 11, we'd do these jobs together. Not like some great big love bond, but because you want to actually teach a kid true methodical working. Like, you wear a dirty shirt that you know is going to go in the wash tomorrow. That's the first thing. Not wasting time, money, nature's resources. Anyway, so what would she have been then? About 21. All I cared about, I left this tree, hoping that they're going on about their fucking hell, the government gave me a kid. Quite possibly in 2010, early on. It's not a coincidence. 9 months earlier, I had personally, alone, been responsible for there being a headline in several newspapers: Jack Straw's a hoodwinker, a fucking liar. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Now, they will have tapped the emails of the Times. Francis Gibb was my main buddy in that. Yeah. Is it a coincidence that 9 months later, the mad, psycho, typical British, horrible BNP light stepfather stole my daughter? Well, he wasn't a father. He wasn't anything. Stole my daughter. Anyway, all I care about is what's now and tomorrow and educating the next generation. So I left that tree for a year, hoping she'd find a way of tiptoeing back to my life, or to our old life, a life where she'd never even seen her ferrets, hedgehogs, pony, all sorts of animals, okay? But I left that tree believing that she'll come one day, she'll find a way, and we'll fell it together, and we will methodically, in fact, before felling it, I would have, with her help, we would have put ropes on the branches. I would have gone up, because I don't have any machinery, and taken down some of the top branches. We would have figured the best angle to fell it away from a 300-year-old wall, and then together we would have gone through it doing that. Now, and here's the real thing, which is the absolute most methodical thing, is if you've got a fresh live tree that's fallen, yeah, you leave your rounds for a few years to dry out, then they're even easier to split. But the reason it was specifically that tree, because I could then chainsaw it into rounds, these are called rounds, and actually split it there and then with her. And she would have done some of it. She would have got the hang of enjoying the axe. No safety gear required. In fact, you're safer without any safety gear. And that way, you're always aware. Where's your axe going to fall, such that it could chop off a toe? No, that's the... Anyway. But yeah, the fucking wounds. Oh my God. I've got this child who I totally so hate, and in fact ever since I discovered it was police sperm. I just want it to be, of course not, okay? You love any kid. But all they can do, oh, I hope this, oh, it's got dodgy. Yeah, all they can go on about is moan. Now, I got the biggest wound in the world ever. Eventually, when I had to, because somebody else said, well, I'm going to take it if you're not going to chop it down. When I had to take that tree down alone, it was the saddest thing in the world, because these things, just doing a job like this over a few days, you learn a bit from these jobs, or rather they get your body into a saner, philosophical flow and not taking anything seriously, but learning as you go. Right, okay, one more little last bit here. Yeah, oh, the thing of this phone is just like had it. The case, it's just like, now, will it? Okay, I just want to show off once more. Yeah, that's the reason I took films. Because it's like, and that's the most absurdist thing in the world ever, because the point is, you actually have to do these jobs only by bodily getting fully into the flow, or watching Eddie show off. Now you see, that was showing off. I should have used a little bit less force there, and the logs wouldn't have flown off the chopping block. Let's see if we can get the two together. Nope. Only by actually doing the jobs. I've never done sport in my life. I've never ever, and unfortunately, especially around here, I can only ever get 4 or 5 weeks a year doing jobs like this. But that's the important thing, actually. Without any wanky, oh, you see, got it, nearly. Without any wanky phraseology like muscle memory, because it's more than muscle. It's actually your whole soul. Your whole soul is in the job, is in the flow. I never, yeah, you see, I sent her an email the other day saying, you don't know anything about me. One thing you may, well, everybody assumes in this country. Gotcha. I have no anger. And that is not because you take your anger out on these jobs, because these jobs are about dignity. Your body, really, your body still flows. You see, this is proof I have no anger, because your body, your muscles, you can't flow with the true zen of, see how that axe ended up like that? I knew it was going to end up like that. Now, I lied. That was luck, but see, got 2 of them there. The body can't lie. If you've got angers, blockages, well, that means your dance doesn't work. And this horrible world of every absurd, now that one there, that one, and furthermore, that's a good base log for the log pile. Every ridiculous fucking ex-southeasterner woman's ended up in the countryside. Listen to the recording I put up yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before? Which unfortunately is terrible quality, because I got the true equipment, the end of all equipment. mean, I'm such a conceited cunt that I hate it, that I've got to use this camera. Lower quality. But, yeah, every goddamn... I mean, if you want to understand what's happened to the countryside, I've got all sorts of stuff to put in. I sent an email to a woman about books where I copied her a link to Charlotte Church on Radio 4, who's bought herself a lovely paradise full of abundance, and she's going to save the world by attracting half a dozen blokes, not like me, who've got the real flow in them. No, who'll suck up to her, because she earned millions with rubbish music, and not one of them would understand about what I've just done there. I mean, it's pretty obvious, it's not rocket science, but what am I trying to say? It is. Yeah, everybody. I mean, the one thing about coming down to the southwest, not too far from 3 years ago, I didn't realise, God, the women here are terrified of men. And of course, that's understandable. If you're from London, or if you've spent a lot of time in such places. The looks you get everywhere. But not one would understand, for example, because they've spent their time with all the Eckhart Tolle. I mean, I actually don't like to say Eckhart Tolle. I mean, one or two things in The Power of Now are okay, but it's all of this, it's actually this meditation thing. If you meditate, you are automatically, by default, zenned out and safe. Okay, I bet you Hitler meditated. No, this is the only proof that you are actually zenned out and you've got no anger in you, no that's enough because it's wet. No inner angst. This is the only proof there is. If your body can flow around a tough job and it's too late for me now, marooned in this absolutely awful place of fake country people that aren't. Okay, how are we doing? Got all the wet wood out, and then there's 5 or 6 loads there, and then that's done. And then put that in there. Whew, what a fantastically good fun job.